Hey guys, my name is Colson Rosa, and welcome back to Seraphim Stories. So in today's video, I want to discuss tension and drama, specifically talking about character tensions and character drama that can then arise between some of your main characters or even some of the side characters that are still influential in the plot and story of your book. So I think it's important to recognize your story doesn't have to be perfect as far as all of your characters just easily get along, always love each other, never have any struggles. This usually is not typical for most stories, and it's rare in real life that a situation like this would ever arise. Arguments, friction, hostile emotions, frustration, and introspection can deepen a story. Characters need to be reflecting on all they've done right and all they've done wrong. All they've done wrong even against some of their other friends or even some of their enemies. These moments of friction and emotion shouldn't just be between hero and villain, but they definitely should be and should deepen the characteristics of what both sides stand for and what both sides stand to lose. So the first thing I'm going to talk about regarding character tension and drama is that, as the name implies, it is character based on who the characters are, what they're fighting for, what concerns them the most, how their upbringing then expresses their concern in different ways. No characters are going to respond in exactly the same way toward a tough situation. And because of the problems faced in the plot, and we've done previous videos on plot talking about how it needs to have struggles that take place and challenges, these challenges are going to show people who they really are. Back when I played college basketball, my coach would often say, basketball is a great sport because it's so fast-paced and there's so much high intensity in the moments that it shines through who people really are deep down on the inside. There's little hiding it when who you naturally are just comes out suddenly and in the heat of an intense sport. In a similar way, the intensity of a fierce struggle in someone's life, something that means something so deeply that they're willing to fight the entire book to try to claim it, that's going to bring out a lot of intense emotions, both good and bad. Some people hide those emotions. Some people are very vocal about those emotions. Some people want to talk it out a lot. Some people want to be left alone. Some people just want to roll up their sleeves and get something done. There's a lot of different ways character-based drama is shown, from the cold shoulder to fierce words to violent action to maybe just restraint, taking a lot of time to think through a problem, introspecting, like I said, reflecting on who you are, how you responded to that problem. Few characters are going to respond the same in those type of intense situations. Now, similarly, it needs to not only be character-based, but it needs to be plot-based. Frustration should not be random. It should not just rise up with no warning and fade away with no warning. Now, even if you're dealing with a stereotypical moody teenager, there needs to be deeper reasons why they're frustrated at something that ties into their circumstances in life, their situations, the problems that they're facing, and the failures that come from either their reaction to the plot or other characters' reaction to the plot, or just the plot itself. Maybe there's extra circumstances that no one could have controlled, but they're just frustrated at the situation that a rainstorm came in at exactly the worst time, or that some other instance just ruined all of their plans. But these should lead into actions that affect the plot. They should come from the plot, these frustrations, but you then also need to show the character's response to this tension. Do they respond in a positive way? Do they respond in a negative way? Maybe their intentions are one thing, but another character thinks their intentions are something totally different, and there has to be some discussions to work out between those two characters what was really meant by some of the things that were said. what was really meant by some of the things that were done. And then forgiveness has to take place or not take place, and the team could be ruptured because of it. On this similar idea, like I talked about with dialogue, you also want character tensions and drama to feel natural. Characters usually are not mad for no reason. It needs to be tied into their personalities, their situations, and no two characters are going to look at what's happening in the plot the exact same way. Everyone has a unique POV, which is point of view. And we know there's songs that sing about, if you were in someone else's shoes, would you do the same thing? Or would you think the same way that they do? So, recognizing that each of the characters even don't have the same point of view of each other. The villain and the hero certainly don't. And then the foil of one of the heroes or the foil of one of the other characters will certainly be different from them. But even similar characters who seem similar in their upbringings or their emotions or just the way that they react, they will have nuances and specific seasonings to the way that they act that no one else does. That's a good thing. That's what you want. Now you also want, no matter how hot-headed they are, you want their reaction to the tension to feel natural and not cartoonish. Usually it's rare that with one bad moment, having a complete flare-up or a complete temper tantrum just because they didn't get something their way. And if that does happen, you need to be very careful with how you do it to make sure the reader isn't instantly distanced from that character, thinking they're just so unrealistic they can't really relate to what that character's going through. If it is a child, the child can act childish. But if it's a full-grown adult acting in a childish manner, that can be hard to sell unless it's built up and expressed in the right way. And then also you want the responses or the apologies to those reactions to be natural as well, coming whenever the character feels ready for them to come. Maybe it's even much later in the story. You also want the responses to the tension that arises to be varied. Sometimes anger is easily noticed. Sometimes it's hidden under the surface. It can be continuous and growing, or it can be just a short, sudden reaction, and the characters quickly get over it. But as the tensions then build into the plot likewise stems from or feeds off some of those tensions. And actions characters take will change based on who they trust the most, who they feel good toward versus who they feel a lot of hatred toward. And those actions will then demonstrate themselves in the ways every single character is acting, whether they know it or not. Lastly, I will add that when you're thinking about character drama and tensions, you want it to be growing. Drama isn't built on a day, usually, or built on one moment. Characters, though it might not seem like it, should have pretty good memories, kind of like regular people do. Remembering wrong things done against them, little things of kindness someone did toward them. It's not easy for a person in real life to forget what someone has done toward them. Likewise, it's very hard for a character to do the same. Their conflicts can grow. They can start small, a little disagreement about what to do, but then maybe when their disagreement causes something terrible to happen, that just flares up. And the other character gets so mad and upset of, why didn't you listen to me? Why didn't you take my side on this issue? And that's where the stakes just get elevated. Now, some characters can have a lot more tension against other characters than the rest, but there needs to be some present somewhere, and it can be shown in many different highlights, with every character having a moment of upset tension against other characters, or one character that plays much more of a mediator role between two just cannot get along. No matter what happens, they're always at odds. And it even can grow and sort of shift and change with the villain. So you can have a villain who maybe starts out hating the hero, but then by the end of the book, they still want to stop the hero, but they at least recognize where the hero's coming from, and they give the hero a lot more credit. Or the vice versa. Maybe two people that used to be allies in life or working toward a similar goal and suddenly realize they're at split ends, at complete odds and opposites. Not every villain needs to be a mustache twirling maniac who's just in it to destroy the world. It could be someone who's thought-provoking and really trying to wrestle through what is the right response to something, and the decision they think is right stands against the decision the protagonist thinks is right. But then it could leave the reader even saying, wow, even though I'm glad the protagonist won the day, I wonder if the protagonist should have given more thought to where the antagonist was coming from. And these are some of the growth moments that come from the tensions. Likewise, there's a growth moment in relationships, even among teammates or allies, where they can be torn apart or grown together stronger because of their responses to the hand that is dealt to them, the world around them and what it's facing. It's very similar to real life in that way, where we need to learn from each other, learn from what God has placed in each of our lives, to then recognize what the best, most humble, loving, smart, wise, genuine, and informed decision is to benefit both sides potentially. And your characters could have this kind of epiphany as well. A revelation that they've been acting in regards to character tension and drama that they face totally wrong. And they have a humbling experience where they come to recognize, maybe I wasn't right to be doing it this way. And that could then progress the plot so much farther because of their new outlook on life. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love thinking through how characters respond to one another in the best and the worst moments. And I hope you do as well, because that's crucial to their development, their layered perspectives, and the actions that will then take place as a result of or be influenced by this drama. So some genres will have less or more of this drama, but either way, it's a very important lesson to learn for all of us, no matter what genre we are in. So I hope you guys loved the video. Consider liking it and subscribing, and maybe comment below some moments of tension that you're trying to work through in your stories, or that you love seeing in some of your favorite books that helped inform you on this topic. So guys, I hope you have a great day. God bless.